Welcome to the Dom Vec podcast. Today's edition will begin the College Creators, a series that will feature and highlight individuals that handle college life as a student as well as a content creator for their respective school. Speaking on a variety of topics and questions, the series will dive deeper into each of the creators' journeys and how they manage their time as a college student and content creator with their hectic schedules. The first guest that will join me on the series is longtime friend and media confidant Dan Fritz. Dan is a native of the greater Hartford area and began sports photography in 2019. Mostly known within the basketball community, DFritz has covered events from the Peach Jam to the NBA All-Star Game. His social media presence, which is DFritz on Instagram, is nationwide, and Fritz has done work for notable high school, college, and even NBA players during his career. Currently, he works directly with the Rutgers men's basketball team as the Starlit Knights took on the Indiana Hoosiers last night. So, how was the game overall? And what content did you have to make after the final buzzer sounded?
I appreciate the nice introduction, man. It's great to talk to you here. Game last night didn't go the way that Rutgers wanted it to go, but going to Assembly Hall for the first time was awesome. It was a really cool arena. It was a cool experience. As for content, I have a transmitter on my camera now that sends pictures back to Jersey live. So a lot of the stuff gets done during the game instead of after, which is nice. I do go back through and take out certain selects that I didn't see during the game, but now I got a lot of stuff going on during the game too with that transmitter. So it's kind of changed a little bit for me.
So, how does that kind of work? And is there editors back in at Rutgers that basically edit it during the game?
Yeah, so the transmitter is I mean, it's just a Canon thing. You hook it up to the camera, you connect it to Wi-Fi, and any picture you take, you can send it. I mean, I don't know how it works. I just know you press a button on it and it says transferring and it goes, and then it goes to Jersey, and the people that run our socials are putting a little preset on it and posting it up.
And when did you kind of learn about that? The
This
the
year,
this
this
year?
year, we had some Wi-Fi issues last year, and we figured out that this would be the best way to do it this year.
That's a really cool innovation because a lot of school, I feel like, especially at Rutgers, when you're like at a big time Big Ten university, you have resources that other schools don't. But at the same time, you want to be able to take advantage of those resources to maximize the content that you can. Let's begin at the beginning. When did you first pick up a camera and who inspired you to start photography in general?
I first started in 2019, right before my senior year of high school. Pretty much taught myself everything that I needed to know. Uh, Inspirations, I would say I used to do like edits, a lot of high school recruiting edits. I think I would say that if I was inspired, it would be by the people like A Fox Visuals, Johnny the Shooter when he was Johnny the Shooter back then. Those guys that were shooting Peach Jam like 2018, 2019 when I was trying to use their pictures for graphics and stuff. And then I kind of wanted to go out and do it on my own, get my own pictures.
And then like leading into that, what has been your welcome to content creation moment?
I would say Putnam Science Academy, either either going to the school and kind of shooting with them and just getting to know their players and coaches and stuff like 2019, 2020 when I was doing that at the beginning, or when they took me to the Barclay Center, which was kind of my first big event that I ever got to cover because up till then I was just doing Simsbury High School football in Connecticut. But they trusted me, took me to the Barclay Center, and I got to shoot their game there, which is pretty awesome.
So how did that relationship come about?
Really, it goes back to the graphics. That's kind of how I started. There was a kid there that was like a four-star, but he hadn't really played at a high school that was getting him a lot of clout, and he didn't have a lot of pictures. And he wanted a graphic, but I couldn't find any pictures. So that kind of sparked me. I'm pretty sure that's at least how I remember it. So it's a good story when I tell it that way. I wanted to make an edit of the kid. There were no pictures, so I was like, I got to go get them myself. And that's from what I remember. That's kind of how it happened.
Going back to your high school experience. So you graduated Simsbury High School in 2020. So overall, during your time, obviously when you started as a senior, what sports did you photograph when you started out in high school?
Literally everything. I was just so excited to have the camera and be out there. I did football, girls soccer, boys soccer. I definitely did a field hockey game. I might have done lacrosse. I did basketball, boys and girls in the winter. I did hockey, which was very hard. Definitely very hard to do hockey.
Was there
I,
any,
I did baseball too, so I don't even know if there was a sport at that school that I didn't do. I know I didn't do rowing. Then I don't know where they row at, but
and which experiences when you were in high school helped you as a photographer going forward?
pretty much all of it. I mean, I was so new at it, and I was just practicing and trying to get better and messing around with the camera, messing around with the settings, the editing, everything. I think that's such a big thing is like when you start doing something, especially this, but like even anything, you just got to keep practicing, 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 and that's kind of how I did it. Just try to any day they had a game, whatever sport it was, I was pretty much there to get some reps in, basically.
Going to like a lot of Simsbury games. Do you kind of miss that time where obviously when you knew everybody, there was you were just starting out, so there wasn't like any added pressure or like you weren't working for a certain company or school where you had certain like negotiables. Was it kind of just like fun, just going
Oh
out,
yeah. I
shooting,
mean,
whatever?
especially nobody else was doing it. I mean, it's a public high school in Connecticut, so everyone was appreciative of it, and it was people were supportive. It was cool. Yeah, I would go back. It was a good time, good period of time.
Were there any memorable moments, like maybe the team winning a championship or certain games that you like remember pretty fondly?
The football team was above average my senior year, so they won some games. That was cool. Uh, Nothing, man. They just like respectfully to them. There's not that many memorable moments that I can think of, but I did have a good time, and it was a good time. Maybe not like any particular sports memory moments, but definitely everybody benefited from it. So
Was there any other memories or experiences that you had while in high school that filming other schools or other events that you were like, wow, that was really cool to do that when I
oh,
first
yeah,
started out?
absolutely. I did Hoophall in 2020. I got to shoot. I didn't shoot every game, but like some players I got to see, like I saw, I mean, it was Bronny as a freshman, but like more importantly, it was like Brandon Boston, Zaire Williams. Who else played there when I was there? I didn't see Kate, I didn't see Sharif, but I got to see IMG, so that was like Jaden Springer, Mark Williams, Jalen Green, Coleman Hawkins, Namari Burnett on Prolific, Evan Mobley. So that was awesome. I mean, I was going from like public high school games to that, and that was only a couple months into having the camera, so I thought, wow, like where can I possibly go from here? I can't get any better than this, and I guess it has.
And how did that experience come about? Like, how did you get the credential and kind of what was that whole process?
I got denied by the company, so then I looked up every athletic director of every team that was playing there and sent out a lot of emails. And I shot for the teams that let me, which was included like Prolific, La Lumiere. They had Jaden Ivey, Jeremy Sohan, Hillcrest Prep, Dalen Terry, Mike Foster. Good teams, McCurr Maker. That
Mhm.
class was really good.
Yeah,
2020.
no, that
I thought
2020 was
my
definitely like
graduating class was awesome.
that 2020 class, like especially in when they were in high school, that was I wouldn't say the height of I wouldn't say the height of high school basketball at all because I feel like everything comes with ebbs and flows. But since I think COVID came at the end of their careers, it would almost like a climax, and then COVID kind of went
Yeah,
down.
they got almost all of it. I
Yeah,
remember they had co-champions of the like prep league because they canceled the championship game. I don't think they had Geico.
after obviously you graduated during COVID, so you decided on taking a gap year. So what kind of went into that decision, and how do you feel about that now, a couple years after that experience?
Yeah, I was headed to UMass. Um, they weren't going to let me do anything for the sports teams because the COVID restrictions were super strict. And then a week or two before school started, they decided that at UMass you could unenroll in those classes for the fall and then re-enroll the next fall. So it was basically a free gap year with guarantee to go back to UMass. So I figured why not waste a year of online school when I just did that from March to graduation of high school.
And what kind of did you learn from taking that gap year instead of maybe going to UMass a year or when you were supposed to?
Well, honestly, like I said, I wouldn't even have gone because it would have been online.
Mhm.
So to me, it just seemed like a waste to waste a year of college, which is supposed to be like you're supposed to feel like independent and all that and go live off somewhere, whether it's far or not. I mean, I'm in New Jersey right now, 3 hours away. UMass was an hour away from home, not that far, but just to be there, that's the college experience. What did I learn? I really didn't do much, to be honest. I did do a lot of photo stuff with anyone that was available and vaccinated. I guess my parents were very strict about that, but uh, I didn't, yeah, I wouldn't say I did it to learn, as some people do take gap years to do like real things and get ahead. I think I did mine because of COVID and because of the situation, but it definitely benefited me because I'm still in school now, and I'm glad that I'm a senior graduating this year.
Was there any events that you went to that were kind of unique to that time, or like things that might have not happened?
The most unique thing is if you look at all the pictures and that time I started trying to do video a little bit, so there's like 3 or 4 mixes from that year. Everybody's got masks on. So y'all definitely remember when that was.
Yeah, that was a very interesting time. And then a lot of teams, like I won't say, just a lot of players in general would just pull their masks down, and like so they were just. It really wasn't at
Yeah,
that point. It was like, what are we doing here? Like, and I do get it. You want safety, but if most of the players are pulling their mask downs anyways and exposing like their mouths and their noses,
yeah.
like overall,
It can't be that safe. Like I don't think no doctor would recommend you play a sport with a face covering either. So that's kind of hard.
yeah,
And
that was
obviously, if you're
definitely
wearing it, you gotta like you're not getting anything unless you're wearing it correctly. So
overall. What advice do you have for anyone that is thinking about taking a gap year? Obviously, under your circumstance, it was different, but what kind of advice do you have in general?
have a plan. I guess it's probably different. I mean, it's definitely different. Like you said, my situation was different. My situation was especially different because it was also like I was enrolled in college. Like I knew where I was going, and then I was able to have a spot saved to unenroll, take the gap year, and go back. So I think if I was to give advice to someone that doesn't have that, definitely have a plan, do something productive so that when you're done with that year, you'll have a school to go to or whatever you're doing next. You'll have something lined up.
When you went to UMass in the fall of 2021, you went there for 2 years and then you transferred to Rutgers. But while at UMass, so why did you go? Why did you choose UMass in the first place, and what factors led to that decision?
I looked very locally. Um, I applied to like UConn, URI, UMass. That's really it. Like just the really, really local schools. Schools that had sport management program. UMass had a really good one, and they still do. And it was only an hour away, and the campus was nice, and I liked it the best out of the three, honestly. Uh, and I have no complaints about it to this day.
What did you like most about your time at UMass?
I had a good friend group. I had a good friend group. The food was really good, I'm sure. Yeah, have you been there?
Yeah, well, I've been to not like when school's going on, but like for different tours or different
You toured,
things.
didn't I see you when you toured there, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember you were like walking. I was like, "Hey, I'm on campus. Let's meet up or something like that."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, the food was good. I had good friends. The classes were cool. You know, cool. Like the campus was all right.
You still talk to your friends from UMass today?
Yeah, yeah. They're gonna come up in like a week or two for a game, so that'll be cool.
Are they all
I,
from all over New England or from Mass?
yeah, yeah. One of them's from Long Island, and then three of the other ones are from different parts of Mass.
And what did you enjoy most about, I guess, working with the athletic department at UMass? Just shooting different events and games.
I think it was structured differently because it's a mid-major. There wasn't like how it is at Rutgers where we have a basketball department. So sure, there were some times where I didn't really want to do certain things, but we did get to shoot every sport. So that could be good or bad, but sometimes it was good.
What sport kind of, I guess, made you think about it differently when you shot it at UMass?
I enjoy shooting football. I think it's cool. I did it at UMass, obviously. I'm not sure if they ever won a game when I shot their games. but I enjoyed it. And I was gonna do something at Rutgers with the football team a little bit, but it's kind of they don't like to mix that much between the two departments, so it ended up falling through. But football is cool. Football is cool.
Did you like doing hockey because of the competition and because of Hockey East, where you get to cover a lot of the guys who end up in the NHL?
I did a couple games, yeah. It was cool. It's very different. And obviously there's only like two spots to put your camera through the glass, and then you got to worry about it getting smashed. But it was cool for a couple times. We don't have a D1 program here, so I probably won't get to do it again, but it was enjoyable.
Is that kind of what you learned during hockey? Is like basketball, there's a lot more angles that you can go to.
Absolutely. I mean, like you said, yeah. You either get the photo hole in the glass or you got to go all the way to the top because you don't want to shoot through the glass. So, yeah.
And then while at UMass, what did you learn about yourself living alone for the first time in your life?
You picked it up a notch. That's a profound question. What did I learn about myself living alone the first time? Well, first of all, I could do it. I mean, I had never experienced it before, but I mean, I feel like everybody can do it. Uh, I had a random roommate, and he was super cool. I'm looking forward to seeing my boy Owen in like a week when, like I said, when they come to the game. Uh, Work-life balance too. I mean, being independent, being at school, and having to make my own schedule, and making sure that all my work got done. And on top of that, I was doing the athletic stuff. So I think that those things probably most importantly.
How did that end up with the random roommate? And where did you live at UMass and what dorm? And how was that experience?
Southwest, both 2 years. Rooms were fine. I mean, they're just rooms made out of white bricks or white concrete, cement, whatever it is. But we made the best of it. I mean, I feel like you don't go to college as a freshman expecting to live in a luxury apartment. Everybody makes do. I helped my sister move into Maryland in the fall, and I was reminded of the UMass times. Like it's about the people that you spend your time with in those rooms. It's not about the size and uh, aesthetic of the room.
Going to Rutgers, and you've been there for the last 2 years, and you're a senior at Rutgers this year. So working with the men's basketball team, how's that time been? And what do you think you'll miss about the last 2 years working with the team?
Man, it's been great. It's a great coaching staff. We got great managers. I mean, this team is a lot different than last year's team. We only had three returners, but everybody that's come through both years have been great kids and great basketball players. So I've enjoyed every minute of being here. In terms of basketball, in terms of school, living, everything's cool. Got a good roommate. What will I miss? I mean, I'll miss the people for sure. I love basketball. I love college basketball, so it doesn't feel like work for me, which I think is important to find a job that you love. Um, I get to go to games for free. I get to go to every Rutgers game home and away for free and sit courtside. So I'll miss that. 2 years of courtside seats for free. Sometimes I get paid for courtside seats. So sick. Awesome.
What is, I would say, compared to like obviously working with UMass and athletics to just basketball, what's kind of the differences between both athletic programs and what are kind of some of the positives and negatives about both?
I'm going to talk strictly basketball for that one, just because that's what I'm doing here.
Yep.
And I'm not really familiar with the other sports here. But I mean, the level of fan support is way different here. Every game is sold out. It's it's a big brand. We're in that New York, New Jersey market, whereas obviously UMass is in Western Mass, which is a beautiful place, but it's not really a sports market that much as much. And they haven't had success in the recent years. Like Rutgers is kind of on the rise. So there's a big difference in that. I feel like the viewership and fan support is a big thing. And then obviously the level of play, like UMass is in the A10, it's a mid-major. They're not at the top of that conference either. Rutgers isn't at the top of the Big Ten at the moment, but the Big Ten is, top dogs. Big Ten, SEC, ACC. Those are the big dogs. Um, so yeah, I think there's obviously differences. I enjoyed both. It's good to be able to experience both levels. So
Academically, what has been the biggest challenge with managing your time with content creation at Rutgers?
I don't even like to let myself get to that point where I have like a problem or anything. You know what I mean? Like I got to get my work done first. That's what's going on the transcript. The transcript isn't going to say you took 400 pictures at the Indiana game. The transcript's going to say you got a B or an A or a C or whatever it is in whatever class, and I got to graduate and get a job. So I just make sure that everything that's due is done before I got to go shoot something. That's my way of doing it.
And has that been your attitude ever since high school?
Yes, yes, yeah. So try to keep that going, and it's helpful. I mean, I don't ever have to be shooting a game worried about, oh, is it going to go long, and then I'm going to have to edit, and then I'm going to have to do the homework that's due at 11:59. Am I going to get it done? I got to make sure it's done so I don't have to watch the game stressed. I'm already stressed enough watching the team that I like. Like it is one thing interesting about working for a team that you grew up rooting for. It's like you're working and you're watching. You're working, but you're watching, basically. Like I'm stressed. I'm enjoying it, and I know I'm working, but I'm stressed.
And how are the professors at Rutgers, and how have they helped in your academic success over the last 2 years?
Oh, extremely. They're very accommodating about when I mean I get a travel letter from our advisor with the team, so I am excused. But they're all very nice about it and willing to kind of give me the work in advance or after with extensions. And when I told them about the All-Star game and that I was going to be gone for a couple of days, instead of getting upset about that, they instead tried to get me. That's how I got posted on the Rutgers Instagram because they wanted to cover that one of the students at Rutgers was able to take a couple of days off from school and go do something like that.
How did your relationship begin with Ron Harper Jr., the first one?
Ron, obviously, I grew up a Rutgers fan. My dad went here, and I mean, it really just started with COVID. Like, we just started playing the game together online, and then I ended up coming to visit him here. We did some picture work together, and we just stayed in touch and became close friends over 5, 6 years.
Is it interesting that you have these relationships with these professional athletes that are friendly and not just, I guess, business?
Yeah, it's a different life. It's so interesting to look into their life. Like, I mean, Ron was kind of the start of that. Now, obviously, I have a couple other guys that I'm friends with. I would consider to be friends that are in professional basketball. And they say things to me like, "Oh, you know how it is, this and this," and I'm like, "No, I don't know. I know you're only a year or two older than me, but you're dealing with things that are way above me already."
What is something that you're going to miss about Rutgers? And what do you want your legacy to be at Rutgers?
Something I'm gonna miss. I mean, the basketball team, working. Uh, I like my apartment. I like the school. Everything's good. I really have no complaints about Rutgers. My legacy, though, I don't know. I didn't expect to answer a question about my legacy, but I don't know. Hopefully that I did a good job, and whoever comes after me continues that with the picture stuff. And I think it's beneficial to have a relationship with the players and coaches that you're taking pictures of, working with. So I think I've done a good job with that, not just walk in, take pictures, leave. I think I have a good relationship with all the people here. I think that's important.
Let's transition into talking about your relationship with and working with the Albany City Rocks organization. So, how did that come about, and how has that experience been overall?
So I got to shoot the gym rat event in Albany in 2021 for a fact, 2021. I really wanted to shoot it because it was Amani Bates playing for team final, and it was like Amani, Jalen Duren, Corey Floyd. That team won the championship. The team was ridiculous. Derek Lively, Ortega, uh, they were stacked. But the City Rocks was kind of the host team because it was in Albany, and they didn't have a team photographer, I noticed. So I started talking to people in the organization that day, and that relationship kind of just took off from there. And I ended up going out to meet them in Augusta for Peach Jam that year, that COVID year. And then they kind of brought me in ever since. I've been traveling with them for this. The last summer was summer number 4.
How many events do you do with them per year? And do you film any of their, I guess, practices or any of their local tournaments in the Albany area? Or is it mostly the EYBL events?
I do the 4 EYBL sessions at Peach Jam, and then I try to do like 2 or 3 practices and 1 or 2 local or more local events. I don't think local is a word, but yeah, I mean they got those events in Albany, so I guess like gym rat would count because I get to see them when they play there. And they usually have something at the beginning of the season in the spring at the Sixers facility. I believe it's in Delaware actually, but that Sixers facility, and then a couple other local ones. But mainly the main focus is on those 4 sessions in Pete's Gym. That's what the people care the most about.
Is there anyone else who you work with in the content creation area with the Albany City Rocks?
Yeah, Kyle Clark. He's a senior in Connecticut. He's a high schooler. I brought him in. I brought him in a long time ago. I brought him in when he was a sophomore. Or did I bring him in when he was a freshman? If he was a junior last year. Yeah, I brought him in when he was a freshman. So his first time traveling with us, he was a freshman in high school. He was a shy kid. I feel like I changed that kid's life a little bit. I always joke with him about that.
What do you say that just because you opened
Because
up?
the first time I brought him there, he was just sitting in the room with everybody all quiet. And then by the end of the first year, he was like bumping Babytron and Rio and all this rap music and was acting a fool, and everybody loved him by the end of the year. And he's just been so good since.
And how did that relationship come about? Like, was there other people that you were thinking about bringing on, and then you kind of ended up choosing him?
Not really. It really was just him. Like I knew it was gonna be him. I wanted it to be someone that was younger than me, so that if I step down from it at some point, which I will because I'm not going to shoot high school basketball forever, that it will be in good hands. And he was so young and so talented already and hungry for it. I just knew that he would be the right pick, and I'm proved right every time, every trip.
Transitioning with that, um, when working with what kind of events overall in the basketball landscape that you enjoy kind of going to, like including like EYBL or Hoophall or any other college basketball events?
I enjoyed going to Vegas because, or for our this Players Era tournament last month or 2 months ago now, I guess it was November, because you get to see other teams. There were 8 teams there, so it was cool to watch other teams' games and see other players that I might have known from shooting in high school or local kids from maybe Jersey that ended up going to Oregon or Texas A&M, like CJ Wilcher, who played at Roselle. He is at Texas A&M, so I got to see him. I probably won't get to see him at all this season because he's playing in the SEC. Um, and then high school, I would say those EYBL sessions because you get to see the best players from every state in the country, and there's many games going on at the same time. So it's just an overload of action. You get to watch all the best guys go at it, which is really cool.
Working with the NBA Africa at the NBA All-Star game, how was that? How did that come around, and what was that whole weekend like?
I met a guy named Trent at the summer league, and we just hit it off. We were just chatting, shooting the games together, stayed in touch, and he ended up reaching out to me from NBA Africa, asking if I'd consider shooting for them because they were looking to hire some people in the States for the All-Star game. And that weekend was just insane. Every day was so cool. We did a lot of amazing content. I worked with some really cool people. I got to shoot the 3-point contest. I got to shoot Rising Stars game. I got to shoot the All-Star game. So, I mean, that's just the best players from every team in one place. So it was incredible. It was really awesome.
What behind the scenes moment? What do you think was the most special? Where you're like, wow, this is crazy where I've came from. In 2019, I was just shooting Simsbury high school football on Friday nights to, you know, I'm working at the NBA All-Star weekend.
2 things. Talking to like guys that I seen in high school that I remembered them, they remembered me, like Amani Bates and Modest Puzelis. That was really cool. And then just like working in the media room where they had the press conferences set up and you just see like LeBron or Giannis and Devin Booker and they're all walking through to do their press conferences. So going from the Simsbury High School football field on a brisk October night to that is pretty cool.
I want to kind of go into the area where you have different relationships with certain players like Isaiah Stewart and Taylor Bull Bowen. So, kind of how did those start, and how those involved into business relationships where you're shooting stuff for them, but also personal relationships at the same time.
I'll start with Taylor because I met him first. I met Taylor when I was still doing the graphics. The first interaction we ever had, I made him an offer edit because he got offered by George Mason, and obviously now he's at Florida State. But Taylor, I mean, we used to play Xbox every day. during COVID. We up till like 4 in the morning, and we just started playing the game again, which is fun. We were talking about how it's like, just like old times, except we neither of us want to stay up that late to play, so we play in the afternoon. But I got to shoot him a bunch. I went up to St. George's when he used to go there. We did a photo shoot there. Got to see him at Brewster a bunch. I haven't gotten to see him in college, which I'm hoping to do uh, before his time is done. He's only a sophomore, so I got some time. And then Isaiah, that's a really cool one. He's 23, so he's only a year older than me. I consider him a friend. Uh, his agent is Ron Harper Jr. and Dylan Harper's agent, and he also played for City Rock. So I had a couple different avenues of connection with him. First time we ever worked, I went to Cleveland for an All-Star weekend, and I did some stuff for him because he made Rising Stars. And then we just stayed in touch, and whenever he needed something, I went out and did it for him, like with the content stuff. And he ended up inviting me to go to Jamaica with him on a family vacation to cover that, which was amazing. And we've done some Pistons games for him, and we're looking to add another one of those to the schedule. I'm gonna go see him play against the Nets on the 8th, which is cool. I always like to go see him play whenever he's local. Knicks, Nets, Sixers.
So how is that process getting like a NBA game media pass, or is it more like you're going through the Pistons basically because you're working
With
with
Isaiah, it's through the Pistons. When I was shooting Celtics for Slam, Slam took care of that. But with Isaiah, he just handles it for me with his guys.
I want to go back to Taylor. So kind of how was that photo shoot you did with St. George's on the water, and kind of what was that inspiration of doing that?
And that was so cool. It was certain shots were a little bit inspired by the Terrence photo shoot he did in Boston, especially the one where he's jumping on the rock by the water. There's a similar shot of T jumping by like a dock. And all you see is the sky in the background. So that was kind of the inspiration for that shot. But other than that, he just told me that the campus was beautiful and it was right on the water. So I wanted to go check it out and do what we could. And I thought that came out really awesome. And those pictures are still really cool. I look back at those. We did there, we did the water, and we did the gym where I put them up on the rim.
And have you ever done any other photo shoots of that magnitude where you look back and you're like, wow, that was really cool.
Uh, I went to Iowa for New Year's 2 years ago because Ron was playing two G League games out there and his cousin lives there, so we all linked up there. And I did a photo shoot with Omaha Bilu, who's at Wake Forest now, at his old his old high school. Actually, no, he transferred back. So he was at Link and then he transferred back to Waukee, Iowa for his senior year. So we did a photo shoot at his school, and that was really cool because then he ended up being a McDonald's All-American.
And how was that being out in Iowa compared to the Northeast?
A lot of nothing, a lot of empty space. But I like traveling. I like seeing different places. It was cool.
Just basketball events in general. What do you think has been like your top five events that you've ever went to? I guess basketball or even events in general, like for all sports
Wow.
that you've covered. Like I guess not as a fan, but that you've covered.
Okay. Okay. I'm not going to give you an order because I'm just going to try to go off the top of my head. I mean, we just beat Seton Hall in a buzzer beater this year. That was really cool. When I was a freshman, and UMass beat Rutgers. That was crazy. I got the shot. That was nuts. I got to see Obi Toppin play twice at Dayton. I got a picture of his windmill on his birthday at URI. That was cool. And it was against his brother, which was cool. 2021 Pete's Jam as a whole. I mean, like Duran, Lively, Shaden Sharp, Amani, all those guys. I'm missing a plethora of NBA names, I'm sure. But that was a crazy year for EYBL. What's that, three? The All-Star game. Because the All-Star game. And then I'll begrudgingly throw in the game one of Celtics Nets when I got the Kyrie middle finger picture and the Tatum game winner on the like 360 layup that he did.
For any of your photos, have you ever think about like putting up on like your wall, like
Oh
a
yeah. In
room?
my apartment upstairs, uh I have 4 3x5 like dorm flags printed out of pictures from the All-Star game.
Since you didn't mention it, how was shooting like NBA Summer League over the last couple of years?
Oh, that I love doing that because it's a collection of young guys that either got drafted or went undrafted and got signed. And I mean, starting with high school like 4 years ago, those guys now are the guys that were there when I was shooting high school. So it's fun to see those guys again in NBA jerseys.
Transitioning and going into your future, what events would you like to cover in your future? And how and kind of what do you want to do with photography going into your future?
Well, one thing I am doing in the near future that I'm looking forward to is on Sunday, I'm gonna get to shoot Juju Watkins in USC against Rutgers, which should be a good game. 8 o'clock on Sunday, that'll be nice. I've shot a WNBA game before, but I would be happy to do another one. I feel like that league is improving every year, and it would be fun to shoot a game for them again. Um, some more March Madness too. I love March Madness. I got to do it in Albany 2 years ago for Miami, actually, and they won both their games, which was cool. And then in the future, I feel like it's a really great entryway to other jobs in the sports world. I think it's a great way to make genuine connections I've been able to do that for 5 years with it because I'm providing a service that people want at a decently high level of good quality. So I don't want to ever have to let it go, you know? I don't want to ever stop doing it.
Is there any, I guess, organizations you would like to work for, or like that would be kind of like a dream to work for in the future?
More so the second one. I do like doing music stuff though now a little bit. I got to shoot a concert in the spring, rap concert in the spring, and it was really cool.
And what concerts were they for? Like what artists?
Baltimore artist named Shorty Shorty. Not very popular, but I like his music and it was pretty cool for me. They didn't really do any numbers because nobody really knew who he was, but he's one of my favorite artists. So I had a really fun time working with them.
What other concerts would you like to do for artists?
Bees is going on tour. Rio is going on tour. Young Boy's in jail, but I love Young Boy, so that would be on the dream list someday. Meek Mill would be on the list. Gunna would be on the list. There's a long list, and I enjoy shooting concerts, so I definitely want to get back into it.
Do you like that? Do you wish you could move around more, like to get different shots?
You can, I just don't like getting in the way. Like I didn't pay for a ticket to this concert that everybody else paid to go to. So I was on the stage a little bit, but I'm trying not to like walk in front, you know. Try to stay on the sides. It's hard. It's different for sure, but it's you gotta just you get what you get with it, honestly, with it so far. Like just try to get the best shots you can.
Academically, and I guess like as a career, what are your plans moving forward?
Oh man, I got some plans. Um, Still working out the plans right now, to be honest. But take it day by day, and whatever comes my way, I'll have to consider it and see. I'm gonna graduate in May, and hopefully I get something good lined up before then. I'm working on that now, and we'll see.
And are you open to like moving anywhere in the country, basically? Or like do you want to stay in the Northeast?
I'd say sure, but I would prefer if a good opportunity presented itself in the Northeast, I'm staying. Yeah. If if there's an amazing opportunity somewhere farther, I'm considering every option. So
What do you want to, what do you want to do during your last semester at Rutgers, and what kind of experience do you want to have before your college experience is over?
just hope we finish out the next 2 months of the season strong, and we got two potential top five picks and a bunch of other really strong players, and uh, I hope that we can have a good end of the season, good couple months, and just keep getting to cover these games and working with these guys and get some wins, have some fun, and then once that is over in March or April, finish school and graduate in May, figure it out.
What is a couple pieces of advice for individuals who are, trying to get in content creation, but want to be able to successfully manage their lives as students if they're still in high school or and they're in college, and they kind of want to take their content creation to the next level?
I think, like I said, I mean, that's the strategy that works for me the best is just getting the work done in advance. I think once you're a student first. I mean, obviously, even like they say student athlete, it's changed. That's changing now, of course, with NIL and everything. But for us, it's a little different. Our grades actually matter. So just making sure you have that balance and making sure that you keep your grades up. I think For me, that's just making sure it's all done in advance. For some people, maybe that's making a schedule of like a week of stuff, but that's the biggest piece of advice that I could give for that is for the work-life balance is like you just got to plan it out to make sure that you have it and that you're budgeting your time so that you do have time for your schoolwork and you have time for your content creation and you can just keep improving.
And is it crazy that I guess you're as you leave Rutgers, you see people who I guess are still in high school or starting college that were in your footsteps a couple years ago. So you try to um, mentor them to help them succeed in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always available. I'm always answering questions in my DMs and stuff. Like if people ever have a question about this kind of thing, yeah, for sure. Like I wouldn't even consider it like a mentor. I'd just consider it being a friend and being helpful, just using my experience to kind of guide or help somebody else. Why not? Why would I try to not? Why would I not want to support somebody that's going to try to do something similar to me, you know?
If someone wants to contact you, what's kind of your social media or other information that you want to put out so that if people want to follow you or want to contact you for any information or advice, they can, do that.
The DMs are open on DFritz photos, and there's an email in the bio that you could reach out to if you don't want to DM, but always checking, always on my phone. Too much phone time, but that's my life, that's my job.
So I want to really thank you for doing this. And overall, I want anybody who's watching this, I want to thank you for watching another episode of the Dom Vec podcast. I want to thank Dan for giving us time out of his busy day to join the podcast. And I want to wish him good luck with his career down the road. All of Dan's social media and any other relevant information will be posted in the description. And I hope anybody to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel for more content. And I hope everyone has a great day and hope to see you next time on the Dom Vec podcast.